The chair recognizes the honourable member for Kalani.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I only want to advise the clerk that they can give me a warning about 6 minutes before the clock, because there's some information that I would like to speak about that I know that the Bahamian would be of vital importance to the Bahamian populace. I'll use my last 6 minutes to deal with it. But Madam Speaker, I'm going to watch that very close. Madam Speaker, I rise to make my contribution to this bill on behalf of the Kalani constituency. Let me say that the Bahamas is an archipelago. Our chain of islands run from Abaco and Grand Bahama in the north to Inagua in the south. And while most Bahamians live on New Providence, we have vibrant economies across our family islands. The challenge we faced before the creation of local government was that the central government in New Providence was solely responsible for handling all matters of governance for all of our communities. And this model, Madam Speaker, was obviously lacking in that the people in our family islands were insufficiently empowered to address their own concerns in their own communities. Our party saw the need for a local governance structure to give the people of the islands more say in matters related to their governance. And local government was introduced into the Bahamas in 1966 by the F&M government, then led by the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram. 96. The bill before us is an evolution of an F&M innovation seeking to improve the decades-old system. It provides broader budgetary authority and allows councils to generate revenue through local fees, taxes, and grants. The bill also allows for more public involvement in the local government process. And the bill, Madam Speaker, further sets out guidelines for financial oversight of local government affairs. And this is very, very important. With local government entities having the ability to generate and retain revenue, there is increased potential for malfeasance. I want to repeat. With local government entities having the ability to generate and retain revenue, there is increased potential for malfeasance. We must be sure that every dollar is accounted for. Madam Speaker, I support this bill. It modernizes local government and will help improve the lives of residents in the family islands. While we are doing the right thing in evolving the local government process in the family islands, we are leaving out the largest population center in our country. Both parties have expressed support in bringing local government here to New Providence. And during my administration, we commissioned a report on the matter. Unfortunately, in our term, Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic derailed us. At that time, Madam Speaker, we were not only dealing with the crisis of Hurricane Dorian, we faced multiple crises of which we had to deal with. There was an economic crisis. There was an educational crisis. There was a mental health crisis. And of course, there was a social crisis, all of which we had to deal with at that time. Therefore, we were not able to bring local government in New Providence. The PLP promised in its blueprint manifesto to bring it to New Providence. Yet, this bill only speaks of the Family Islands. New Providence needs local government to get many little things done. I want to speak for Kalani. What we would love to see done, the seawall just as you pass Nesbitt. Repeatedly, the road become impassable because of the sand that accumulate in the street. But yet, the ministry has moved to put sidewalks in that area. The sidewalks are not as urgent as the seawall, because with the constant erosion, even the sidewalks will be destroyed. So I beg the government again to please, I'm quite aware of the challenges that was faced with the construction of the seawall in that particular area. I'm certain those matters have been resolved, and I ask the government to advance and move forward with the creation or the construction of the seawall, which is very, very important. The committee we commissioned strongly recommended that local government be instituted in New Providence. It said in its report, and I quote, "Local government in New Providence would exist to provide a level of community and island-wide coordination and cooperation by residents in addressing the numerous environmental, social, educational, economic, and infrastructural issues in the New Providence area. Local government will deepen democracy by introducing citizen participation in the decision-making process and administration of their communities and island. What local government does not do is to seek to address national issues, which is a matter entirely in the dominion of central government and Parliament." End quote. There are numerous community-related issues in New Providence that needs addressing. The central government is bad at handling many of these issues, such as potholes, maintaining street signs, and general cleanliness. People in the community know what issues need to be addressed in their areas. The people know because they live there. They have a sense of urgency to get things done. They want their community maintained, beautified. They want their drains cleaned out properly so as to minimize as much as possible the flooding that we inevitably will experience. These matters, Madam Speaker, involve day-to-day quality of life. Madam Speaker, just as I endorse and support this bill, I support using elements of this bill along with elements of the report on local government in New Providence to bring local government to New Providence. And Madam Speaker, before I take my seat, I must again raise questions in this place regarding the development of Bahamian men and the deployment of Bahamian men and women to Haiti by this administration. Bahamians have heard so many different stories from the New Day government that they no longer know what is going on or what the plan is. In October, Madam Speaker, at the end of my debate, I will table all the relevant documents. In October, the government announced that a 6-person team was being deployed to Haiti. The government had initially pledged 150 troops to the international effort. However, after backlash, we heard from the Commodore of the Defense Force in May that no more than 5 members of the force would be going to Haiti. But in an interview with the media on Friday, the Minister of National Security referred to other troops possibly being deployed. In a Nassau Guardian article on Monday, November 18th, 2024, titled RBDF Officers on 6-Month Deployment to Haiti, the Minister of National Security is quoted as saying, I quote, "There are, if I'm not mistaken, 4 officers deployed to Haiti." End quote. He told reporters on the sidelines of a law enforcement event. A senior rate and junior rate in the command center at the airport, that's the extent of the employment at this time. The situation in Haiti ebbs and flows. There is no intent to bring them back. The deployment time, as we discovered, isn't 4 months. It's 6 months. And so they're deployed for 6 months. The person who are to replace them have already been selected, trained. They'll have to be vetted so that they can seamlessly replace them after 6 months. Our commitment, as we have said, of the 150 personnel is a maritime security commitment. The Nassau Guardian story added, Monroe said, the government has submitted the names of other officers to be vetted by the Multinational Security Support Mission, MSSM, in Washington, D.C., adding that officials will determine at a later point when to deploy additional RBDF officers. Madam Speaker, here the minister is back to the figure of 150, and the Commodore said no more than 5 RBDF officers are going to Haiti. The question I ask, Madam Speaker, how many Defense Force officers does this administration intend to send to Haiti? Is it 5? Or is it 6? Or is it 150? Or is it some number between? The PLP administration now says it is a maritime security commitment. But what?
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Madam Speaker, I am encouraged that he is in the back stretch and he is only at 12 minutes. So I won't trouble him much. But there's a distinction with the Defense Force, there's a distinction between officers and personnel. An officer is of the rank of midshipman or above. Everyone else below is a rating, either senior, junior, or a warrant officer. That is why the specification was given that there are 4 officers, 1 senior rate, and a junior rate as an interpreter, which adds up to 6. The Commodore spoke about those persons who are in the command center in command roles. All of the pronouncements by myself has been that this is going to be a maritime engagement. And I went so far as saying I believe in this place and elsewhere that involves projecting a 60-meter offshore patrol craft that usually patrols the southern Bahamas and sometimes the waters of the Turks and Caicos Islands towards Haiti, bringing it close enough, I said, to the press to intercept vessels and not bring them to New Providence where they would have to be put in a detention center and repatriated, but return them directly to Haiti. A 60-meter offshore patrol craft is usually crewed by, I think it's 35 to 45 men, and to put a fire team on board for boarding and force protection would bring the number to about 60 persons deployed on a 60-meter offshore patrol craft in a maritime security setting for Haiti, sorry. The 6 persons in the command center have command roles. One of them has the command billet for maritime operations. It is the case that the situation in Haiti devolves and ebbs and flows. It also is the case, Madam Speaker, that it is in our national security interest, not only that they return to peace, but while they do not return to peace, that if we are to intercept them at sea, that it is done as close to the Republic of Haiti as possible.
Thank you, honourable member.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I understand the member trying to clarify certain things, but as I proceed, Madam Speaker, I would put recommendation forth that for the member, and especially Prime Minister, though he's not here, I'm certain that he's listening to me. What part of that contingent will be on land and what part will be on sea? What is really going on? We keep getting conflicting information on this Haiti deployment. The Minister of National Security also had the cleanup remarks made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs on whether the officers can opt out of the mission. According to the Foreign Affairs Minister, as reported in the Tribune on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024, in an article titled, RBDF Officers in Haiti Can Opt Out. Voluntary opting out of the officers was possible. Then on Monday, November 18th, also in the Tribune, an article titled, quote, voluntary withdrawal does not apply to RBDF, end quote. The National Security Minister said that was not the case and only foreign services and embassy people can voluntarily withdraw. Those on deployment, allow me to just finish this. Let me just finish this. Those on deployment must serve their tour. Why are the Foreign and National Security Minister on different pages, and who is in charge?
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Madam Speaker, the Foreign Minister, the member for Fox Hill, has written directly to the press about this. And for the edification of the member for the member of Kalani, the Minister of Foreign Affairs speaks for foreign officers. And in the Foreign Ministry in Haiti, the Charge d'Affaires happens to be Commander Julian Smith, an officer of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The mission also happens to have 3 Royal Bahamas Defense Force ratings attached to it. And the Foreign Minister spoke for those 4 persons who are employed with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also happen to be members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. He spoke for members of the Foreign Service under the purview of his ministry. I spoke for persons under the purview of my ministry. There is no confusion, no misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
And to be quite clear with the statement previously, the 4 officers, 2 Marines at the airport are the only persons committed to be on the ground in Haiti, and they are in the secure headquarters. The other 60-odd persons likely to be deployed imminently will be at sea, offshore, not even in the littorals of Haiti.
Thank you, honourable member.
Thank you very much,
Kalani.
Madam Speaker. The member said, member for Foreign Minister speaks for Foreign Affairs. I thought he spoke for all. Sometimes he speaks as chairman of the party. Other times he speaks as Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the public believes sometimes he speaks as Prime Minister We are confused. Madam Speaker, allow me to state why there is so confusion. Allow me to clarify. That's because they're following the example set by the Prime Minister. We expect, what should we expect? When their boss, the Prime Minister, is on different page on many occasions from his minister. Example, in 2014, even before he became Prime Minister, he threw his then Prime Minister under the bus. Then, in November 2022, he threw the member for Fort Charlotte under the bus. Then, in March of 2023, all the documents will be presented. In March of 2023, he threw his speechwriter under the bus. Then, in November 2022, all documents will be tabled. November 2022, he threw the member for Fort Charlotte under the bus again.
Who's driving?
Then, in March of 2022,
Listen, man, come on.
in March of 2022, he threw the Deputy Prime Minister, the member for Exuma on Ragged Island, under the bus with respect to RCI. Then, that was not good enough for him. In May of 2024, with respect to NIB insurance, he threw Fort Charlotte under the bus again. Madam Speaker, now we see where the confusion, they're following the footsteps of their leader. Madam Speaker, this government, all documents will be tabled.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Fort Charlotte.
The honourable member for Kalani can speculate.
He threw us in the blue hole. Not no bus, blue hole. Competent
This
authority.
honourable member was not under any bus. I mean, you can laugh and grin as much as you like. You know, what size was the bus? No, I'm asking you. Because I know of no bus.
What color was the bus?
You know, and Madam Speaker, it is entertaining. It is entertaining. It is entertaining, but it is simply a fantasy. And that is indeed what it is. Pure fantasy and pure speculation.
Thank you, honourable member.
Thank you very much, Professor. You have always been the best. Madam Speaker, I can imagine. I wrote that. I can imagine the headline tomorrow. Fort Charlotte asks Kalani what size was the bus.
What color was the bus?
Using your fantasy. Using your fantasy. Using your fantasy. If you are stating that I am the victim of a collision, how could I be in a collision and not be aware of it?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously. So clearly, you cannot speak from my experience. You can speak to your fantasy, but certainly I've not been under any bus.
I would love to speak to my fantasy, but not the other day. You and I can talk about my fantasy off record. Madam Speaker, this government is mixed up and confused on a serious matter. These are the lives of our sons and daughters. They should not be sent to Haiti on a mission that is ill-defined, underfunded, and open-ended. Haiti right now is a very dangerous place. Gangs control 80% of the capital and have reached into other parts of the country. The UN estimates that at least 3,600 people have been killed there since January. Hundreds of thousands of people have been internally displaced. 3 planes were recently hit with bullets, causing a suspension of flight to that country. The Prime Minister of Haiti has just resigned. That led to the appointment of another Prime Minister. Haiti, Madam Speaker, is a mess. Our sons and daughters' lives should not be risked in this dysfunction. There is no consensus among the Haitian elite as to the way forward in Haiti. Until the Haitians come to a consensus on how they want to live, no intervention force will have success there. Due to all the confusion on the Bahamian mission to Haiti and all the contradictory statements by government officials, I call on the Prime Minister to deliver a communication to Parliament on the Bahamas' involvement with the mission to Haiti. Let me repeat. Due to all the confusion on the Bahamian mission to Haiti and all the contradictory statements by government officials, I call on the Prime Minister to deliver a communication to Parliament on the Bahamas' involvement with the mission to Haiti. This Prime Minister, Madam Speaker, often ducks out on his responsibilities. We need to hear from him. We need to hear from him on the Bahamian involvement in Haiti. Madam Speaker, may I briefly address another critical matter that we are facing. In an editorial this past Monday, the Nassau Guardian noted, the Progressive Liberal Party, PLP, came to power upon a bold promise to reduce the rate of value-added tax from 12 to 10%. What it did not say along the campaign trail is that it would eliminate the zero rating on breadbasket items, effectively applying VAT on items that are being VAT-free since July 1st, 2018. The Free National Movement urged the Davis administration not to. It argued that the tax burden was being unfairly shifted to the poor, who spent most of their money on breadbasket items, while those with means would benefit from having a tax reduction on what some would consider luxury purchases. While acknowledging it was a sensitive issue, the PLP pushed back. Minister of National Security and Freetown MP, Wayne Monroe, at the time labeled it insulting to suggest that the only thing low-income families consumed were breadbasket items. Still, Madam Speaker, food prices climbed. Still,
Sky high.
the FNM called for the elimination of VAT on breadbasket items. And the Prime Minister's recent ill-considered comment that the choices people are making fuels the cost of living rightfully attracted significant criticisms and made the Prime Minister appear out of touch. Madam Speaker, for 3 long years, the people have been suffering from a cost of living crisis made much worse because of the indifference of an out-of-touch government. When I initially asked the government to remove VAT from breadbasket items, I spoke of what this would mean for most Bahamians. Along with sky-high electricity bills, increased taxes and fees, VAT on medicine and food, and a PLP government hungry for revenue, the cost of living is unbearable. It's unbearable for the majority of Bahamians. And today, most people recognize what others said 3 years ago. This is a government out of touch, out of control, out of step with the needs of our people. This is a Prime Minister and a PLP government that has borrowed plenty money with little to show for it. This is a Prime Minister who prefers ceremonies, parties, luxury travel, rather than doing the people's business. The money your government has paid for private jets and first-class travel can be used to help the poorest and the most vulnerable in our country. The people need help.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
He's talking about travel. Can he explain how he managed to spend $12.25 million in travel in the COVID year that included no possible international travel from March until July, and when Hurricane Dorian had struck in September? Since he likes to talk about travel, could he explain that?
I listen to the member continuously. I listen to the member continuously bring and utter such statement. And I will come in here and I will give a complete report and I will finally shut you down and shut you up.
Yes.
I am tired. I am absolutely tired. I am absolutely tired. That's 6 minutes? All right, let me get ready. Let me get ready to switch. I am absolutely tired of an echoing voice coming from the left.
And you're right. No, his way.
You're left, my right. Madam Speaker, the Prime Minister spoke about people making the right choices, even as people are making tough choices every day on what they can afford. Here's a choice that the Prime Minister can make. Please, I know he's listening. Stay home and do your job. Stop spending millions of the people's money on your flying while the people are hurting. And I have repeated, as I have repeatedly done for the past 3 years, I beg the Prime Minister, have a heart. Have a heart. Where?
Have a heart. Come on. Have a heart.
Where?
Where's the compassion?
Say it again. Where is his compassion? Where is his compassion? For God's sake, your people are suffering.
Yeah, man. You're suffering, man.
Don't let me pass 2 minutes. Your people are suffering. Help the people. Please remove this terrible burden of VAT on breadbasket items and medicine. People are making decisions. Hospitals are becoming filled. It's only a matter of time, and the Minister of Health can vouch for this. If we continue down this road, it's only a matter of time before we see malnutrition and other suffering increase. Help, I ask the Prime Minister. Stop some of the pain the people are feeling. I beg him again to stop. I beg again to stop the pain and have a heart. Madam Speaker,
Have a heart. Have a heart.
there's a lot of chaos and a lot of concerns going on in some of the government ministries. You would hear rumors upon rumors that individuals who are high within the PLP system, be they generals, whatever, saying that they have more power than staff workers within various ministries. And they've gone as far as sexually harassing individuals, especially, and Madam Speaker, I have documents. I have documents. On the 4th, one such example, on the 4th of November, a staff member made a complaint because an individual who said he has great influence, and we know that he has influence. I won't call the name, but I'll provide you the document. And what he says goes, and he runs this ministry. And he had taken his hand and subsequently placed on the female staff member buttock and subsequently tried to go further. I have documents. But Madam Speaker, this should not, a complaint was lodged to the police department. A complaint. Madam Speaker, this is just one example with the evidence of such events occurring. There are many other rumors, but this can be proven. But there are many other rumors of PLP operatives who are threatening staff members that they better do certain things or they will not get promoted, they will not get their pay on time. Madam Speaker, it is worse. That is not becoming of this Bahamas. And I can only say that I have no daughters. I have granddaughters. And if they put their hand on my granddaughter's whatever, and under my granddaughter's dress, that would be the last time they put their hand on anybody. I will not tolerate it. And no woman in this country should tolerate it within our government. Madam Speaker, I hope this is thoroughly investigated. This is no accusation, man. I don't come here with accusation. I come here with facts.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Central and South.
The member for Kalani is speaking about a situation that I'm aware of. But let me start by saying the person who, individual, no, I call him name, but individual, but I gotta clarify because you're saying that we allow this type of stuff, right? So you can't be saying that. The individual does not work for the Ministry of Works, right? He does not work, okay? I'll even go further to say that the staff member made a complaint. She also lodged a complaint with the police. And the individual was also banned from the Ministry of Works.
Never to come back inside.
So I will ensure that I have a no-nonsense approach because I have a son, the same as you got a daughter.
I don't have any.
Well, you say you had a daughter. Granddaughter. Sorry. Granddaughter. But I just want to make it clear before this muddy some water about what goes on at a ministry. The minister does not control what happens, but we do control or have input on our reaction to what happens. So I have a no-nonsense approach for foolishness that is not welcome in the Ministry of Works or any other ministry in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable member. The chair recognizes the honourable member for Golden Isles. Yes.
for the member to say PLP operatives. Okay? I think that should be withdrawn. I think all of us in here are just as passionate or more passionate than he is. That if anyone touch our family members, he's not the only one who will take that position. And so that's for whoever, PLP, FNM, who the hell ever it is. We are prepared to take that position. So I think it's unfair, and I think he should withdraw it in terms of PLP operatives. We don't care who it is, be it PLP, FNM, or whoever. They will suffer those consequences. I think he should withdraw that, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
If you want to use the word
Kalani, are you
general,
willing to withdraw?
if you want to use the word general, that's fine. That's fine. The point is, and I'm happy to hear that the member for South Eleuthera, Central and South Eleuthera, state that he will not tolerate that in his ministry. So I hope not to ever hear about it again. But I don't want to hear about it in any ministry. No ministry. Madam Speaker, are you going to withdraw it? I said what I wanted to say. Madam Speaker,
What did you say?
Kalani, I said if you don't like that word, I can say generals. But you can choose your word. But they're general. Madam Speaker, Kalani supports this bill, and now I will table all the documents.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
Rashad.